story so far for the Sea of Flame campaign is they said you were guilty. High crimes that were heinous. A book with pages upon pages of charges. Maybe you were actually guilty. Maybe you weren't. Maybe you were just inconvenient to those in power, or maybe you were caught up at the wrong place and at the wrong time. It doesn't matter now. They made the deal. They sold your soul off like a bargaining chip. And as the shadowy claws grabbed at your soul, you tried to scream, yet you no longer had a mouth. You wonder what they gained from it. You'll probably never know. You were dragged down into this prison. One of the fiends teased you with a shred of hope, a shadowy figure enveloped in sulfur and smoke. Foolish mortal! Ye toil, ye suffer, and maybe thou canst find the amulet of kings. Such a thing can free thee from the fires. The fiend vanishes as the twisting vortex of shadowy claws, flames and foul vapors spirit your soul down to the depths of an underworld. Doomed to be tormented and forgotten, you appear on a hill by a portal. Others, sacrifices much like you, standing nearby. Did they receive the same fiendish message? Should you work together? Or can only one be saved? Is it even true? You look around. The sky is pitch black and filled with foul smoke. It is dark, but sometimes a dim red glow can be seen on the horizon. Your mouth is dry and your stomach growls. You've no food or water nor any equipment. You climb some rocks and try to look around. You're on a rocky island, and instead of water, you gasp in horror. Surrounding you is a sea of flame. So that is the introductory story to the Minecraft-inspired Dungeons & Dragons campaign, Sea of Flame. In this campaign, the Sea of Flame is a prison dimension in hell, basically. And you're stuck here, and you have to survive in any way you think of. And you spawned in. I'll look through this player's eyes. You spawn in right here, in the Hill of Tears, by this portal that only newcomers come through, and you can't go through it back. And there's some other survivors. There's 4 already. Like I said, if you want to join the campaign, check out patreon.com/Vechs. It's the Dungeons & Dragons Club tier. All right, character creation. Vanilla, number 1, vanilla rules as written, Charactermancer options. That's it. Charactermancer is add a character. So you add a character, save. Okay, cool. So character sheet, use Charactermancer. Literally, you just click through and it does the options for you. Choose a race. I don't know. I'll be a bugbear. Yeah, I'm a bugbear. Okay, alignment. I'm a neutral good bugbear. Yeah. Yeah, but this literally, like, it shows you what you get. It tells you. It shows you the options. Choose a class. One of these. I'm a fighter. Yeah, I'm a fighter. Skill proficiency, acrobatics, intimidation, a fighting style, great weapon fighting. Yeah, great weapon fighting bugbear. Anyway, you get the idea. Abilities, background, equipment, feats, blah, 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 blah. It handles it all for you. The Charactermancer is great. Makes it super easy. All right. No setting specific stuff. If you don't know what that means, don't worry about it. Dragon marks. See people ask about that. There's campaigns that have very specific setting options. Mostly Eberron campaign. Just none of that stuff. 3, feats. Yes, you can use feats. 4, stat rolls. Everybody just uses the standard array. That way nobody gets unlucky and nobody gets lucky. And everybody basically has the same opportunity. 5, starting level 1. If you've already gamed with me before and you have an existing character in a campaign you want to put over, I'll let you start at level 2 as a little bonus. but you still start with 0 XP. So in either case, it still takes the same amount to get to level 3, for example. Your XP is effectively, your level is effectively loaned to you. Starting wealth, 0 gold pieces, starting gear, common clothes, and nothing else. It's Minecraft survival. You wake up on a friggin' Sea of Flame island, and you just have to survive as best you can. 7 races allowed: human, half-elf, tiefling, Aasimar, dwarf, bugbear, orc, hobgoblin, Goliath, and lizard folk. Why those? It was originally going to be only human because you only have humans in Minecraft, basically. But I got wheedled at. People were like, "Can we have some more races?" And I was like, I don't want too many. I don't want crazy stuff." But I have the really popular ones. Humans, half-elves, and tieflings, and Aasimar are all incredibly popular options. So I think I've covered the most popular stuff in here. And then I have some other crazy stuff like lizard folk and bugbears and orcs and hobgoblins if you want something different. They're all medium, which is, yeah, Tiefling is probably playing on easy mode, easier mode. The fire resist is obviously going to be handy. Don't think that just because it's Sea of Flame, you'll only ever find fire damage coming at you, though. Just a heads up, just to be clear. Multiclassing, no. 5th edition is very easy for players. Some editions of D&D were quite difficult, easy to die. 5th edition is hard to die, hard to party wipe, very easy edition overall. And feats are an optional rule, and feats make you more powerful. And multiclassing is optional and makes you more powerful. To allow feats and multiclassing, people will come up with incredibly min-maxed, powerful builds. And those that do will be at a great advantage, and those that don't and focus more on just making a character that's cool or they want to roleplay, whatever, will be at a, kind of a disadvantage. It's not a competitive game. It's not PvP, right? Like, it's not like an MMO PvP server or anything. But still, yeah. Feats should let you do interesting things with your class that you normally might not be able to. So the optional feats rule is turned on, but the multiclassing optional rule is turned off. I'll tell you why. You could make like a level 1, let me think. You could make some sort of like hybrid warlock paladin cleric build, I think, and be very powerful from a very early level. Like, you could take 1-level dips in several things and a 2-level dip, and you could just make some sort of crazy mishmash bag of overpowered mechanics. I don't know. Anyway, let's move on. 9, death and dying. Not even death can save you from this prison. If you die, your old body rapidly rots to dust after 1 minute. That is to give you a chance to cast Revivify, heads up. That's why it's a 1 minute. And a new body is made for you at the Hill of Tears, and your XP total is set to 0. This doesn't make you lose your player levels, but it does greatly delay your progress at leveling up more. For example, it takes 300 experience points to go from level 1 to level 2. And if you have 290 XP, and you're 10 away from level 2, and you die, well, you go back to 0, and you have to start over. And if you're almost to level 11, and you die, your XP goes back to 0. You're still level 10, right? But you've got to earn all that friggin' XP back. You don't want to die, trust me. That said, you get to keep playing. However, every time you respawn this way, you gain a minus 2d4 penalty to a random ability score, which is tracked in the gear wheel menu. You may be able to restore your ability scores using magic, greater restoration. That does cost a consumable diamond, though, so heads up. If one of these scores ever reaches 0, your soul is destroyed, and not even Wish can magic can bring you back. That's the permanent death where your character sheet gets deleted. So that is how you actually die. But because it's a random ability score, and because it's 2d4, like let's say your starting ability is you have an 8 in one of your starting abilities, you'd have to die, roll randomly 1 through 6 to land on the ability that's an 8, so 1 in 6 chance. And then you'd have to roll an 8 on a 2d4, which is both of the d4s coming up with the result of 4. I'm not sure what the exact odds are on that. I think it is a 1 in 6 times 1 in 4 times 1 in 4. I think that's a 1 in 96 chance of you dying on your first death. I think that's a 1 in 96 chance. Oh. Probably not going to happen. Anyway. That's character creation. What else we got? Accrued equipment. So what happens if you walk over to this pile of bones and you grab like a rib cage that's sharpened and you use like a bone shiv? Can you use like a rib cage as a dagger? Yeah, you can. Improvised gear and equipment taken from a monster after being used by it in battle is often crude. Crude weapons break if you roll a natural 1 on an attack. Crude weapons have a -1 enhancement bonus to attack and damage rolls. Simply put, it's a -1 weapon. Like, you know how you have a +1 dagger? Well, a crude dagger is a -1 dagger. And crude armor breaks if you're struck by a critical hit, and it also lowers your movement by 5 while you wear it. So there you go. That's basically what happens if you try to use like improvised stuff. Time and gameplay. Here's the last important thing for this campaign. If you're thinking of joining up, when you join a session in this campaign, you create a resource called time with 24 out of 24 numerical value in the other resource box. What does that look like? Let's go grab Volzale. Hello, Volzale. Will you demonstrate, please? Yes. Right here in this box, time 24 out of 24. Cool. Oh, and he's got a crude bone dagger. And you can see it's got a magic bonus of -1. So it's a -1 dagger, effectively. He's already grabbed himself a bone dagger. Alright. That's where you basically just put the time, and that way you can just tick it down like that, you know, really easily. Alright, cool. Oh. Once Dr. Schulzenstein. Oh, thank you for subscribing. Alright. Oh, hi Finn, welcome to the stream. Okay, so time and gameplay. When you join a session in this campaign, create a resource called time with, 24 out of 24, we got that. Adventuring time will be tracked in 1-hour increments, and a session can go up to 24 hours in game time. When you leave a session, your character is considered to be camping out wherever you left them, and other characters cannot interact with them in any hostile way, though you can leave items beside them or heal them. Monsters will probably also leave you alone too. Maybe. It is recommended that you leave your character in as safe a situation as you possibly can at the end of a session. Time is not banked. When you join a new session, the time clock resets to 24. Things to keep in mind. Traveling around the world takes time. You need to provide food and water for yourself or you will starve to death. Time is tracked for the entire party. One person long resting for 8 hours takes 8 hours for everyone. So if your friend long rests and takes 8 hours, you also have to knock off 8 hours for the party's time is all synchronized. Time is tracked in 1 hour increments, and 1 hour is the smallest unit of time you can spend. Keep this in mind when ritual casting spells. If you do, consider doing more than one spell and getting the most out of that hour. I'm not going to try to track like 10 minutes. Well, how much time do we have left? 22 hours and 30 minutes. No, it's just like if you spend some time, it's going to be 1 hour off the clock. That's too much. That's no. Okay. When the party is down to 0 hours of time left, you won't be able to do any further activities that trigger an hour being consumed. Examples: resting, traveling, ritual casting. But you can still walk around the current area you are in and fight monsters if you want to. For every 1 hour of travel, you provoke a check for random encounters. Monsters travel around a lot, and the exact chance of an encounter can change day to day. For example, if it takes 2 hours to get to a location, I could roll 2d4s, or 2d6s, or 2d10s, depending on the conditions of the area. You don't know, but I do. And if it comes up 1, then you get an encounter. So if it's a busy area, and you're likely to run into stuff, well then I might use d4s, so each dice is a 25% chance, 1 out of 4. But if it's a quieter area, well, maybe that's a d8 or a d10. And in that case, it's a d10's a 1 out of 10 chance, a 10% chance. So that's what that means. If multiple checks are made, they're rolled at the same time. So if it takes you 3 hours to get somewhere, then well, I'm going to roll 3 dice. And if they're d4s and I roll 3d4 and all of them come up a 1, well, if multiple encounters result, they are combined into one big fight. That, I'm waiting for that to happen personally. That will be fun. That's going to be that's going to be fun. And finally, ghost story. At makeshift camps and in the crevices of rocks, when survivors try to rest and maybe even get some sleep, they tell tales passed down from survivor to survivor. One began long ago among the older generations that came to this hellish prison long before you arrived. Some say that when survivors wander the world for too long, and the day's hour runs out, and if you then linger a while, you'll meet something terrible. Some have gone out and roamed the land for more than a day without rest, and those people have never returned. They didn't even respawn at the Hill of Tears. So this campaign comes with its own ghost story, and some players are probably going to do this eventually. Yep, that'll be fun. So that's it, guys. I have designed. All right. So what do we do on this stream? A summary, real quick. So I've got all these areas made. They're all dynamically lit. Holy hell! By the way, this one, Fungal Grotto, dynamically lighting this was an absolute pain in the butt. Look at this dynamic lighting layer. Look at it. Do you see this? Well, what's dynamic lighting? Well, it's let's get this person out. And so looking through, if you're the player using this character, this is what you see. Except that, oops, let's send her to the token layer. My bad. There we go. This is what you see. So this is what it's like to be a player here. Right? So the dynamic lighting layer handles the dynamic lighting, which changes as you move around. So yeah. That's what it looks like. And then if you go to the dynamic lighting layer, this is for me as a DM. I basically have to draw on this. So for example, the way it works, like let's see, okay, let's say there's a door here, right? Boom, door. And then you as the player, I got to go back to the you look here and you're like, to the north, what's that? It's like, oh, it's a door, and I can grab it and open it and slide it open for you. And then you, the player, you see now it's opened, right? There would be artwork here for a door, by the way. I wouldn't make it just, yeah. So that's basically the dynamic lighting. So it really ratchets up the tension when you move around. And I like to control my character when I'm a player, because sometimes Courtney DMs for me, so I get to be a player and she's the DM. But I like to click my token and then use the arrow keys to move around like this. You can move around like you're playing an old school roguelike game, like tile-based, like Castle of the Winds. I streamed that last time. So it's really cool. I love the dynamic lighting. But anyway, so earlier today, I made all these areas. I've got to go populate them with encounters and monsters and treasure and other stuff. But they are all dynamically lit. It takes forever. It's a lot of work, but that's what you pay me for, right? We went to Devil's Beach, and we made a mini boss in Devil's Beach called Ember Surge the Ravaging. That was based on viewers' names that they suggested. And he is a famous monster. Denari, loots! Yes, you want lootses. You guys got to see my template here. I've got a template monster that I use to as a starting point when designing stuff. It even has, like in the bio section, it's got this image of the recommendations for CR stuff. And from the template monster, I copied it, and we made Ember Surge the Ravaging. He is a elemental. He's pretty cool. He's this famous monster that hangs out in Devil Beach. He kind of hangs out here in the lava, and, he probably won't go after you unless you get near him and fuck with him. But if he aggro's on you, he's going to chase you, and it's not going to be pretty. He's a CR3. He is designed to harry and harass and make life hard for brand new players. But, you can get some levels under your belt from weaker enemies and then maybe try to take them on and actually kill them. But, he's a famous monster. This monster is well known in the realm it inhabits. Stories are told of it, and it somehow manages to return eventually, even if it's slain. So if you join the campaign 6 months from now, and several people have already killed this guy, odds are that eventually he'll come back, And he's got a bunch of cool abilities that key off of his multi-attack. He's got 3 attacks, but some of these abilities are special, and they use, like, Dire Slam uses 2 of the 3 attacks. So he's got this little micro action economy going. And I covered all his abilities and the rationale behind them. And basically my view on balance based off the recommended numbers. For example, he's got Slam, and if he does 3 of these, that's actually his highest damage potential is just 3 slams. It's 8 times 3 is 24, which, if you check his CR rating, that's right in the comfort zone, 21 to 26 DPR. But then if he does, like, this here, like if he does a Dire Slam, that's 2 attacks, then he's only got, Slam left. So he could do one of these, one of those. And, that's 11 average damage plus 17. That's 18, so he's losing out on damage potential. But what's he get? He gets higher attack value to hit, be more likely to hit. And hey, this has a strength saving throw versus prone. What's this got? Well, it doesn't knock you prone, but it's got range, right? You know? And it can hit 1 or 2 creatures within 10 feet because it's like a smoke plume attack. And it's got poison damage and fire. It's fire and poison. It's like noxious, hot vapor he shoots out at you. Yes, the sound effect was necessary. He's got Ravaging Flames, which is plus 12 to hit, so very likely to hit. But if he does that, it's all 3 of his attacks and, only 12 average damage. It's got this, 7 damage, because you'll probably make a save. You'll probably make a DC 13 save. It's a 50-50. So 14 damage or maybe 7 damage. But if you fail by 5 or more, ooh, he's got this really nasty thing he can do. But that's basically his whole turn. So we covered this dude, and we designed him on stream, and that's basically what we did. And then I went through the player handouts and the story so far. And finally, to illustrate, this is the path to the Hill of Tears. That would take 1 hour. And if you go to the Hill of Tears, so I would take the players. So if the players are on this map, see, there's a player flag. That's how you get around. So if the players are here, I'd be like, oh, okay, you go to the Hill of Tears. It takes an hour. I would roll an encounter. We go to the Hill of Tears, bada bing, bada boom. I'd probably put your tokens right here because you came from this way. And then this goes to the Obsidian Cliffs. That takes 2 hours. Valley of Webs, 1 hour. Flame Sands, 2 hours. And there's all these. And if you get a random encounter, I've got a battle map for a random encounter. So this is basically, if you think of Sea of Flame on the island, this is effectively, these 9 zones are the above ground surface of the island. And then there's going to be dungeons below the surface. Oh boy, are there going to be dungeons. Like this right here, this is just the overworld, the safe-ish above ground area. But Vechs, I hear you ask, can we shop? What will I do with my gold? Well, I'll give you a sneak peek. If you head to Salt Cove, there's a shanty town. It sucks, and it's run by bandits. But at least, if you play nice, they might have a shop. And hey, it looks like they've got some mushroom farms. Maybe they'll sell you some mushrooms. So maybe you could turn your gold into rations. I don't know. Or maybe you could attack them. Whatever. I don't know. You do you, pal. Now let's go back to the Hill of Tears. And I think I have done what I've set out to do. I might chop this up and edit it and throw it up on YouTube. We'll see. But for the time being, it's midnight, and I didn't want to stream too long, but I'm actually really happy that I did exactly what I set out to do. It's great. Lost Volk, been around a long time, but first time saying hello. Well, hello! Hello, Lost Volk. Hello, Dr. Schultzenstein. Hello, Eric. Thank you for subscribing, Lost. Thank you for subscribing, Doctor. Hello, TB Wolf and Finari. Love you guys. Always great to see you. Hello, Eric. And wasn't there one more person? Evath, hello. Griffins, hello. Samet, hello. Cano Penguins, hello. Elamega, hello. I love you guys. Lost Sniper. Fazla. Dr. Wolf. Yes. All of you guys are great. And the guy from Bosnia, Fazla, 97. All right. Thank you guys for joining the stream, and I'll see you guys next stream. And if you want to join this campaign, you need Roll20, which is free, and Discord, and a decent microphone, like headset, to talk on Discord. And yeah, starts at $20 a month, and that gets you five sessions. So you could play once a week, and then like twice a week for one of the weeks, I guess. Anyway, I'll see you guys later. Until next time, as always, take it easy. So basically what we're doing is there's an area of this map for this campaign. This is Sea of Flame, but in Dungeons and Dragons. We've copied my template, because I use a template The template is really handy. So what we're doing is we're making a mini boss that's going to roam an area called Devil Beach of Sea of Flame. And this is the Sea of Flame campaign, and as you can see up here, I've been working on areas today. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 areas. Hill of Tears, Devil Beach, Salt Cove, Obsidian Cliffs, Bale's Peak, Valley of Webs, City of Lost Souls, and Flame Sands and Fungal Grotto. And this is just the above ground areas. So this is where our monster is going to be dumped out into, and he's going to be a roaming mini boss that just kind of bothers players that come here until one day, somebody eventually kills him. Let's head back to the DM token area, and let's make our mini boss here. We've got a copy of my template, which should probably go. The template itself needs to go in this folder, I think. All right, let's open the template. So I'm going to let the stream name this guy. This guy is a fire-themed. He's a fire elemental, basically. Give me a cool name for a fire elemental mini boss of like a early area of a game. I do have the right to refuse if you say something stupid, obviously. But I'll let Twitch chat name this guy. That sounds fun to me. Yeah, let's go with CR3. Okay, so that'll be my guideline, basically, to follow. Alright, so CR3, expected DPR is 21 to 26. We could probably turn that down a little bit. Hit points, 101, totally, AC 13. Alright. So we'll give this guy 100 hit points even. And he will be a CR3. Alright, he's a large elemental lawful evil. He is immune. He's immune to fire damage. Just straight up immune. Cano Penguins. Theor the Ravaging. I like it. Ooh, Ember Surge. Ember Surge the Ravaging. We'll combine the names. Yes. Alright, this guy's got 13 AC. You don't have to follow these numbers exactly, but this does give you a rough idea, AC 13. Alright, speed. Yeah, 30's fine. Actually, let's bump his speed up a bit to 50 to make him more difficult to kite by players. A solid 16 all stats. Ember Surge. Okay, so let's see. What's his name hint at? Ember Surge. So fire. Surge. So speed's probably not a bad idea. But what if he's like really like he's fast in one direction, but he's not agile, like he doesn't turn very well. He's very hardy though, and he's really strong. And he's kind of dumb, and his mental stats, not too good. So we're looking at kind of a basic bitch bruiser archetype. All right. Let's go grab fire elemental. We're going to go grab fire elemental baselines here. Ooh, that's a nasty one. Immune to fire and poison. And he's got a bunch of addition immunities here too. And he's got pretty good vision. He's got dark vision out to 120 feet. Passive perception is a 11, I believe. And he speaks Ignan. And he's like a 5th level magic caster, and his spellcasting ability is Constitution. He's got natural spellcasting. All right. Is he vulnerable to any damage? Yeah, you know what? I think he's vulnerable to cold damage. Right? Okay, so that's his basic stat block there. So he's got the fire elemental stuff, you know. Close that. All right. And we need to change this guy's name to Ember Surge the Ravaging. All right. Okay. So my template monster has a bunch of stuff here. I'll walk you guys through these things one at a time. Skittering Leap. As a bonus action, this creature may leap up to 30 feet to an unoccupied space it can see. This movement does not provoke attacks of opportunity. And you're not intended to just leave all of these abilities on a template monster, but they are here to inspire me. There are a spread of like kind of generic abilities, you know, that you can reskin. But you'll see how I set this up as I continue here. So let's continue. Ferocious Charge. As a bonus action, this creature gains an additional 30 feet of movement this turn. This ability cannot be used if a hostile creature is within 30 feet. And after using this ability, if this creature moves in a straight line at least 40 feet towards an enemy, this creature gains an additional 2 attacks this turn. So if you're far away from him, he can charge you, and you know, and Ember Surge. You know that actually sounds about right. So we're gonna get rid of Skittering Leap and give him Ferocious Charge. So he is a charger, and he'll get 2 extra attacks if he completes the requirements for this. So that might take some people by surprise because he will charge away from the frontliners to the squishy people in the back, and then he will ravage them. Right? He surges and then ravages. It's literally his name. Attack variety. This creature has attacks that use different numbers of its allotted multi-attack value. Attacks that are more expensive often have certain perks, typically better to hits. I've standardized a formula here, 50% bonus per attack used, or DC saves versus status effects, longer range, exotic damage types. Cool. This creature manifests either magic, which may be counterspell, dispelled, or stopped by anti-magic, or natural abilities that produce similar effects to spells without explicitly being magic, not stopped by the former, at the DM's discretion. This guy, he's an elemental. He's just naturally got fire abilities. So putting him, like dispelling him or whatever, it's not going to do anything. The DC for its spells, or it's controlled by the CR rating. Duh. The value for spell, which is by default, so yeah, duh. Yeah, and if my guy has natural abilities, I often make Constitution the spellcasting ability for it. Monster simple mana. Yeah, actually, I still might use mana for. Okay, so this is a rules as written campaign. This is 100% rules as written campaign for the players. I still might use mana for the monsters, because that's actually kind of easier on me rather than having to fiddle with like this crap right here. Where's even the arrows to click it down? Do I just have to manually type it in if I use it? Oh God. Okay. Right. No. I'm gonna stick with mana. Mana, by the way, is, if for you guys who don't know, is a simple mana is my system. It's a variant on the spell point system in vanilla. This is Roll20. If you guys want to play Dungeons and Dragons in this campaign that I'm working on, it should be ready for play in like tomorrow or maybe the day after. You can totally roll characters if you sign up. You can check out my Patreon, patreon.com/Vechs, and I have the $20 tier is where the Dungeons and Dragons Club starts, and you can play up to 5 times a month, which works out to be about $4 per game session if you want to join this. And we have several people have already joined the campaign. And I may need to talk to one of those players about what they named their character. They might need a name change. Anyway. Let's see here. But, let's see here. Multi-attack. Okay. So, simple mana, multi-attack. This creature makes 3 attacks. So, I don't know about this. I think this guy is going to be kind of strong. Let's put him down to 2 attacks per round. All right, 2 attacks per round. Oh, wait a minute now. If I make his individual attacks, if I give him more attacks, he'll actually do less damage per attack. 3 attacks might not actually be a bad idea. Okay. This creature casts a spell or manifests a natural ability, producing similar effects to a spell using 1 attack for a cantrip or first level spell, and 1 additional attack for every spell level thereafter. In other words, Firebolt, he's got 3 attacks, he could do Firebolt 3 times. Easy. Which means for our threat range, what we're looking at here is we want to make his magic caster level go down to 4. So that his Firebolt is only a 1d10. Yeah, there we go. 1d10. Because that has pretty good range on it of 120 feet, and our shortcut here for a CR3 suggests a DPR of 21 to 26. And 3 Firebolts as a 4th level caster will end up being, well, those are crap rolls, but the average of a D10 is 5.5, which is, 5.5 times 3. That is 16.5 average damage, but that's at range of 120 feet. So if that doesn't deal, his full allotted damage, that's fine. He's sacrificing some damage potential for range. So overall, that's pretty balanced. All right, let's have a look at his slam. Yep, that's a slam attack. Obviously, this guy being a CR3, we need to walk this damage back so that his 3 attacks deal. He is kind of an offensive character, so we can probably hit the upper end of this and shoot for 26 per round. 26 divided by 3 is 8.5 average damage. Let's see if we can hit the 8.5. So 1d6 plus, well, he's got 6 strength, so we're already right up on this. So this is 3.5 plus 6 is 9.5 plus d4 is 2. So we're actually overshooting this a little bit. So we could probably roll this back to d4. And his 2 hit value is, should be a 4. And his proficiency bonus is a 2, so you'd expect a +2 here. That said, this guy has a +8 to hit because of his strength. So he's got more 2 hit value than expected for his range. So this is 2.5 plus 2.5 is 5 plus 6, that's 11. So we're looking at about 33 damage for his slam. That's a bit much, but we'll let it roll. We'll see. It's okay if his basic attack . is a bit much. His strength is a little too much, though. I think we need to walk this back down to hit this 8.5 here. We're going to go to his strength, and we're going to scalp off 4 points of strength, which puts him back to his proficiency of +2. That gets him a +6, and here a +4. And that brings us to 2.5. That brings us to 9. So now he is back down in range of. No, he's got a little bit higher attack, and if he gets his Ferocious Charge, he's going to be really formidable for a CR3. But that's okay. You know, he is a mini boss, and he's probably by himself, right? And if he's by himself, he's no. He is meant to kind of harry and terrify brand new level 1 and 2 players. They're not going to want to mess with this sucker. They're going to just want to run from him. And then later, come back and probably kill him. That's the basic design here with this guy. Ember Surge the Rabbiting. And he's probably going to respawn because, you know, why not? What if what if you sign up for the campaign 3 months from now and you didn't get to see this guy? He'll probably come back from time to time. In fact, let's add this. Famous monster. Now, this monster is well known. In the realm it inhabits. Stories are told of it. Somehow always manages to return, even if slain. Alright, he respawns. Cool. Sucker respawns. Of it. Of it. This is actually not too far off from expectation for this setting, because in this setting, the in this setting, players respawn if they die. There are some nasty penalties, though. You're not going to want to die, but if you do, you do just literally respawn back at the Hill of Tears. All right. So, we got a slam. So we've tweaked the slam to fit in with a fire elemental of CR3. Now we've got, what is this? Dire Slam. Okay. What are my DM notes for this? This ability uses 2 attacks, getting a 50% bonus to the hit and carrying a DC rider against the prone effect, which could give other attacks this round advantage. Your overall damage is still lower than 2 slams hitting, however. Okay, cool. So we take our +6 to attack and add 50%, so 9. Okay, that's already fair. And now the damage is supposed to be lower than 2 slams hitting. Okay, I can do that. What do we got? 1d4 +4, and then 1d4 fire. So this probably should have about. It's got a rider against prone, and the DC for a CR3 is 13. Okay. Oh, and as we go through this, we can remove the DM notes off of the thing here. So the Dire Slam should do more damage than the Slam. Let's pump up the fire damage to a 2d4. So 6 + 2, 7 damage. We're looking at 6 + 5 here is 11. 11 is still lower than 14, so that's perfect. So if he's having trouble hitting with his slam attack, You can switch to Dire Slam, you know? Well, pa! Oh my god! There's a crit. That player would be in trouble. Toxic Spray uses 2 attacks. Well, let's see. How about we call this Smoke Plume? It's got a. We'll keep the bonus to hit. One or two creatures within 10 feet of each other. Okay, we'll keep that too. Actually, that's not bad. And we will really ratchet the damage down on this. And let's turn this down to a 1d4 plus 4 poison and a 1d4 fire. So he has a long range attack. So it deals poison damage and fire damage. And then Arcane Fang. I don't think we need this. Maybe we do. What can we call this? We can call this Ravaging Flames. It uses all 3 of his attacks. It's a melee attack. What does this say? This ability uses all 3 of his attacks, getting a 100% bonus to the 2 hit, bringing it to a formidable plus 12. Well, we're actually going to keep that. The average damage is only 30, missing out on a possible 15 extra damage if all 3 basic slams hit. Okay. Okay. So, Ravaging Flames, this attack counts as magical for the purposes of overcoming damage resistance. Sure. Okay. And let's take a look at the damage this thing does. It should probably be about the same as a Dire Slam. But it's called Ravaging Flame. So why don't we do 1d4 plus 4 magical bludgeoning and 3d4 fire damage. Or 1d12. Let's roll the dice on this sucker. There we go. 1d4 plus 4 magical bludgeoning plus a d12 of fire damage is in there. If that crits, though, and rolls high, ooh. Mind-Shattering Scream. All hostile creatures within 30 feet must make an int save or take psychic damage. This is guaranteed psychic damage. If they fail by 5 or more, they automatically lose concentration, become frightened for 1 minute. While frightened this way, their movement speed becomes 0. A frightened creature has disadvantage. Okay. This ability has damage output well below the recommended damage per turn for this CR, but it does affect an area. It uses an uncommon saving throw, an exotic damage type, and has potentially severe status effect riders utilizing the fail by 5 or more mechanic. Finally, if an ability causes a status effect, it is useful to include the effects of that status in the ability text. You know what? Mind-Shattering Scream. Yeah, why not? We'll leave this ability on this guy. But we do need to go adjust the damage down to be probably about half of, okay, about 10 damage. So we need to turn this down to about 10 damage. We'll say, what can we do here? 14. 14 psychic damage on a failed save, or half as much, so 7. So basically a guaranteed 7 psychic damage within 30 feet of him, using his entire turn effectively. And I'm going to keep the fail by 5 or more mechanic. We're going to turn this DC down to 13. And we're going to keep that frightened description in there, because it's useful to have. Hmm. There we go. Mind-Shattering Scream. Uses all 3 of his attacks. And there we go. So basically, this little guy, he's got 3 attacks, and he's got some options here that use different amounts of attacks. This is my favorite way of basically giving a monster its own quick and dirty action. This is way more interesting to fight than a typical claw, claw, bite, whatever. So many enemies in the vanilla monster manual are claw, claw, bite of some, or slam, slam, whatever. So he's got some options. Now, let's go take a look at his spells here. He's a 4th level caster, which means he doesn't have Dimension. He doesn't have Dimension Door. He doesn't have Fireball. A little too much for him. He's got Fire. He does have Firebolt though. We're not going to give him Cure Wounds either. Guiding Bolt. Now that's kind of interesting. He suddenly busts out some radiant damage at you. Blindness, Deafness. Yeah, I could see him having this. Blinding you effectively with like smoke. Guiding Bolt. I could see a special fire elemental being able to produce radiant damage, actually. And Guiding Bolt's a solid, I believe, 3d6, 4d6, so 4 times 3.5 is 12. What's the average damage of a Guiding Bolt? 0.5 times 4. Normally I would do this in my head, but it is 14. Oh, 3.5 times 2. I feel stupid. 3.5 and 3.5 is 7. 7 times 2 is 14. That's easy math. Duh. Okay, if he pops off, he can theoretically pop off 3 Guiding Bolts per turn. Now that is 42 damage. That is a little too much for him. So I think we're going to strip off his Guiding Bolt. Maybe if he was a CR5, that would be okay, but not for a CR3. That's a little too much. Blindness, Deafness does give him something. We need to give him a 1st level spell of some kind. How about let's throw him Burning Hands. All right, he's got Burning Hands. He's got Blindness, Deafness. Yeah, Burning Hands. We could give him Scorching Ray, but he's already just got Fire Bolts he can throw out. I don't want to give him any more economy there. And we're going to give him Misty Step just in case players produce some sort of fuckery that gets him stuck. He can bonus action Misty Step. It gives him some more mobility. And also, this is also in case of player fuckery. Misty Step and Levitate. He's probably never going to do either of these, but they're in his kit just in case. I could see a Fire Elemental being able to slowly float up. You know. So he's going to pop off a level 1 Burning Hands. What's that got him? What's this do? 3D, okay, 3d6. That's a little, and it's fire damage, not radiant damage. It's a dex save for half. And so his con's a little high. Let's walk back the con a little bit and give him a solid 18. That will automatically adjust his firebolt attacks to a +6 to hit. That's fine. Burning Hands. DC 14. That's 1 above the recommendation. That's fine too. It's a 5% difference. Okay, there we go. Overall, this guy is pretty cool looking. We need some artwork for him. So let's see here. What type of artwork can we give him? So here we got Ember Surge the Ravening. He is a... We are going to make a new folder. Famous Monster. He's a famous monster. Amazing. Alright, there's our famous monster. Creatures of Fire. Is there some artwork that's kind of cool? Oh, I know what we could use. In my other campaign, I recently had, yes, a smoke elemental. I don't think they're going to show up in this campaign for a while at least, so we can use the smoke elementals. I made a smoke elemental using this same system, by the way. So this is a pretty cool token. Looks awesome. Ember Surge the Ravaging. Show nameplate. Advanced. Player permissions. They can see his name. He is famous after all. And he has sight. And he doesn't emit light. Alright. So edit. And he's got, what are we looking at? He has 100 out of 100 hit points. So this guy, new players will probably, Devil Beach might be one of the first places they go. And if they go there, how much mana has this guy got? CR times 4, 12. So basically, if you cast a second level spell, that costs 2 mana. So you'd have 10 out of 12. If you cast a first level spell, that's 1. Cantrip's free. A 6th level spell costs 6 mana. Until you get to 7th, 8th, and 9th level spells, those cost double. So spells cost 1 mana, 2 mana, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then right after that, 14, 16, and 18 mana. Because 7th level spells and higher it's kind of the cutoff zone for, you're starting to get some crazy effects. And also leaving the cutoff at 6 mana for 6th level and then 14 for 7th, it still gives you Cone of Cold, Vitriolic Sphere, Disintegrate, Chain Lightning, a lot of really solid 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th nuke spells that don't tax your mana pool too bad. Works pretty well. In this campaign, we're 100% rules is written, so players use the spell slots. Because the only actual complaint at all, my players so far have been incredibly happy, but the only actual complaint I've had so far was like one person was like, "You have too many house rules." Like, okay. So I want to make a 100% rules is written campaign set in a super hostile map because, duh, branding. Anyway. Okay, so Ember Surge the Ravaging. Save. Alright. Hey, he's got a mana bar. Sweet. His mana bar is red. I guess it's I don't know, what you call it. Yeah. Ability bar, whatever. Stamina. It's stamina. Alright. That's it. I think this boy's done. Final step. Use select token. Save. Let's go. Where's my smoke elemental? Smoke. Alright, whatever. I can't find the original artwork, so his avatar is also just going to be the smoke elemental token. Should be, anyway. All the other ones are tokens, too. Let's put him out. There he goes. So, famous monster, Ember Surge the Ravaging. CR3 mini-boss of Devil Beach. Just chilling out here. As you can see, got a lot more areas. Here's the Hill of Tears. This is the place you spawn in at. So here's all the characters we have so far. So if you want to play in this campaign, it's $20 a month at the low end. You can play more if you pay more. $20 gets you 5 sessions a month.